Welcome back, Planet Zoo adventurers, as we continue our big build here on our Planet Zoo. And of course, this is our Planet Zoo reimagined. We started off with our zoo, which wasn't good. It did take a few episodes to realise that it wasn't good, but it wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And now we are refurbishing and completely regenerating this area and making it better, making it bigger, and of course making it much more user-friendly. There's no doubt about the fact that we had a lot of complaints, we had a lot of refunds, and we had a lot of really unhappy people over simple things that we could fix. And just a little bit of imagination goes a long way in these kind of games. And yeah, you know, until you play it a bit, we came in fresh off of here. We didn't go through much. We had a very quick tutorial which kind of told us how to build enclosures. Doesn't really give a lot of the secrets away, in fairness, of kind of what you can do and what you can get away with. But here we are now, and we are going to be moving our saltwater crocodiles over into this bit. So as you can see, we built a bit of an area in here. We saw that at the end of the last episode. In conjunction with that, we've put a couple of shops in. With the shops, we've put the main sort of building in over there. And of course, we are going to have some water. Now, for the other species, we are going to make it look like they're connecting, to be honest. So we're going to have it the other side of this, and the water is going to go right round the other side under the bridge. We're going to get rid of the Nile crocodiles because this whole area has got to go. It's completely in the way. And yeah, the Nile crocodiles are going to fall, the Nile monitors, sorry, are going to fall casualty to that. They're not something we're keeping in at the moment. So we want to get rid of those, and we need the space to come up in order to do what we need to do. So yes, this is going to be a second enclosure. It's going to be going underneath this path, so that on the path you'll be kind of walking over the crocodiles as you come through, which will be a really nice change to what we've had already. And of course, you'll be able to see them from both sides. So you'll be able to see them from underneath, and you should be able to see them from the bridge as well. They're going to make it look like they kind of connect, even though they don't connect. It is going to kind of make it look like they connect. So we're going to have glass across the front here. It'll be one complete glass screen. As we come around here and then back up, and their enclosure will be on this side. So we'll have a few glass panels up here as well, I think, so people can see them there. And yeah, their enclosure will back onto there, and it'll kind of be the entrance area to this exhibit. Now we're going to call this the caves, this area. I think it's quite suiting that you're going to be going down underground to check everything out. And as you can see, we have made the water level exact all the way around for both enclosures, so it will definitely look like you're walking through kind of one area. And of course, we are going to theme this up, the heavy, you know, well, I say heavy theme, we're certainly going to theme this up anyway to make it, you know, hide some of these side parts and hide some of these posts and bits and pieces as well. Now then, there's quite a lot to do to this enclosure before we get them in. We're going to have to build a building for them, and we are going to have to make sure that they can get up and down the slope. So they should be able to. We haven't made them too steep, but we want to make sure that they go in here swimming. Now then, of course, at the top, at the moment, at the top right, you can see the main path. That main path bends around the other side. That will be gone. That was going to turn into a staff path, so that we have to have people come around here. Because the issue we've got with the other crocodile entrance is that people just don't go down for whatever reason. They don't go downstairs. They kind of walk over the top. They try and peer over the edge. So we're going to make it that they have to walk down, and they can get all the views as we go around. And then we'll have a staff-only path which will cut through, so they don't have to walk around. In addition to cutting through, that will also open up this back area here, so that they can go in and feed the animals, go in and put the animals in, and go in and sort the animals out. So yeah, hugely important that you know, we have the staff pass. We've had a problem before where we've not put enough staff pass in, and they just can't get to the exhibits fast enough, particularly when we're building over. So as we said, this is going to have its own little entrance area, which is going to be the caves. We're going to use the brilliant rock work which the game has. And we're going to use some of the signs as well, some of the letters which we've used in other areas. In fact, we used it for the old African sign. These can be coloured and of course moved around, and they're on two different sizes, which is lovely because we can kind of have a, you know, capital or small, and you know, really make it sort of stand out as you walk through it. Now, the reason why we're having this one slightly separately is we do like to, you know, we've tried to do it with the tigers, and we try to do it with the other animals as well, as kind of having, this is what you're walking into. You know, you're walking into a different area whilst sort of in the same continent. And of course, you know, this is going to have to be expanded. As we've said before, you know, we weren't actually going to do this bit next. We were going to fill the gap in front of the monkeys here, just on the right hand side where we are now. We have a massive gap with potentially a completely new enclosure and a new species. However, we do need to move these animals, so we are going to have to do this one first, which is a bit of a shame. It is nice to get some new species in, but we've definitely got to make these ones happier, and we need the space at the front. We are going to have to build a even further extended front area with some shops and some, you know, they haven't got restaurants yet. It's a bit of a shame they don't have restaurants yet, but you know, a sit down, a restaurant eaty sort of area where we have quite a few get-togethers and people can sit down and really relax. And of course we can put some exhibits in there as well if we wanted to, some of the smaller ones, but the entrance area at the moment. And you know, it's funny because if you're watching the New Planet Coaster series, you'll see that I never build the entrances first. I never build the entrances first, and it always comes back and bites me because I go off and build the rest of the park and completely forget about the entrance. And it's something I've done again. Although we have expanded the entrance very, very slightly, it's still not an entrance to a park. You know, I want a massive welcome, you know, area in which people can come in with fountains and things. And at the moment, you walk in, you've got some staff buildings on the right, and on the left, you've got some enclosures. We just don't have the space to do it. So we really, really do need to up our game with that. So first things first, let's get the rest of the roofs done, because once the roofs are in, we can move the animals in and they will have some hard shelter. From there, we can of course pause the game again and sort their enclosures out and make sure they're kind of happy, and then we can theme around it and make sure we've got the right plants and trees for them. Now, the saltwater crocodiles don't require an awful lot of shelter, to be honest with you. So yeah, they won't need a lot, but we certainly need to kind of theme around the back area. You see the top of the screen now, around the habitat. We need to get some trees up, and we just need to make it a far more enclosed than what it currently is. We are going to finish off this kind of area, or certainly attempt to finish off this before going over and removing the other enclosures. So we need to get a few plants and trees in here just so they're going to be happy when we move them over. We need to make sure the terrain's right, which is why we've moved just one over to get this right. We'll get some plants in here. We'll get some plants they like in here. There we go. We've got some plants they like in here. They don't like them all, as we said. Don't be fooled into thinking they like them all just because they fit the biome. That is very much not the case, and it would be really, really nice if there was a quicker way of looking at it. There really would be a much easier way of looking at it. Would be just amazing, just amazing. And if there is one, I haven't found it, and let us know in the comments below. But at the moment, just kind of clicking on the animal and having to go back and forth with certain trees, you know, really seems a long-winded way of doing things. But at the same time, it's something we have to do, and it's something we have to get right. So we're just going to sort out the terrain, get a few plants in there, make sure they're happy, and of course move them over, which we've done. And yeah, get rid of this area. You know, this area at the end of the day needs to be used for an entrance. That one says it's escaped. Hasn't escaped. Okay, so what we've done there, we built the barrier on the inside of the shop area, and we put a null barrier in there because we had the kind of walls. However, because the null barrier is there, even though the walls are there and the animal can't get out, it does say that it's escaped, which is utterly useless. So we've gone back there, we'll put a normal wall in there. You can't see it because it's inside, and that's how we'll leave that. But yeah, not ideal. It'd be really nice if you know, it wasn't quite so touchy with that when the animal can't get out. But I guess once it's gone past the official barrier point, that's where it causes a problem. Now we're going to move this over here for the moment, and we just need to clear this area down. Get rid of the habitats, and yeah, all of a sudden, you know, this really popular sort of area, and it has been popular, is gone. Now then, back over here, we are going to finish off this part. And by finish, I mean we need to do around the top bits, and we need to kind of probably duplicate the rock work over certain parts, and we need to make another entrance over the other side, because arguably the entrance to the caves bit over the other side will be one of the key entrance areas. Once we're past that bit, we are going to have another Asia area. We're actually going to copy the building which is at the top end, which we built initially as the Welcome to Asia, because just two entrances in there. One of them will be down here, which will lead into the crocodiles. You'll then walk all the way around here where we are now, and then come back out there. So that is the plan. That is 100% the plan. What we're doing now is we're just putting some green bins in, because we forgot to put some recycle bins in, and apparently it does keep them quite happy before we come down here and theme in the tunnel. So although we have got glass panels, we are going to put some little fences. People can look over the fences without any problems to look at the saltwater crocodiles, which are in this enclosure. And of course, we are going to fill a little bit of rock work on here as well. Being the caves, you know, we don't want to make it completely enclosed. We could just put a roof on it, but we don't really want to do that, to be honest with you. You know, it's nicer to have a bit open. Complicated name maybe, but it's nice to have it a little bit open. But we are going to use the rock work to kind of cover certain bits up. And there's some nice flat pieces as well on the rock work, which you'll see in a minute, which we kind of put across the top. Also providing a bit of shelter. Let's not forget that, you know, as we said, it is dynamic weather. It does provide a lovely bit of shelter, particularly as of right now in the game when we paused it, it's raining. So people head for the umbrellas and people head for the information bits to buy umbrellas if they don't have them. So we're going to go right across the top here to cover the top of the glass. That's why we didn't curve it, because I do like the curved glass. I'm a real fan of the curved glass. But we go right across the top there, and of course we will come over at certain points as well, and coming over at certain points we'll be able to create a little bit of shelter. So as you saw there, we're just about to bring it back up. Get some plants in. We'll get some plants in they like, because as we've seen, we if you didn't see one of the first episodes, we put plants sort of on outside of the enclosure, outside of the habitat, about where we're putting them now, and because they overlapped on the habitat slightly, they actually came up as not suitable for the animal. That is how close it is. The second a branch, a leaf goes into that habitat, that tree is subject to you know, being recognised by the animal, which is great in one respect, but when you're trying to theme the paths, it can be a little bit of a pain if you want, you know, a more surrounding sort of tree bush there rather than some of the little ones that they require. So what we've done there is we've double checked which ones are in the enclosure, and they're the ones that we are going to put across the edge, so they do back into the enclosure, it's not going to matter too much. Now they seem quite happy. They seem quite happy with what's there. We've just waited for it to finish raining before coming to do the back bit. We had to fast forward it. The rain's lovely, dynamic, but when you're trying to do something, it's very dark on the screen and it's very difficult. So this is the bit we want to raise up, although we will use some actual rock work as well. You know, this is so much easier to use the terrain tool. The terrain tool is brilliant, and it does cover a little bit up. So we're going to have the entrance area like this. We do go up quite a lot. It can be tricky sometimes. It just goes off on its own sort of tangent, the terrain tool. Let us know what you think of the terrain tool actually in the comments. We'd love to know. It's exactly the same in Planet Coaster as what it is in Planet Zoo. So if you haven't got Planet Zoo but you are playing Planet Coaster, let us know what you think of the terrain tool, because it is identical. We find it really useful. Just find it just does its own thing sometimes without us really knowing. We're going to put some little rocks up. We're going to have it, as we said, overlapping to make it feel much more enclosed than what it is, because, you know, as it stands, we don't plan to put anything behind this. You know, we're right at the edge of the map on the left hand side, and I think at the back as well, we're pretty much right on the edge of the map. So no kind of plans to go behind there. We just want to get this all enclosed, and of course we've got to sort out this area here as well, and we are going to copy the entrance building up the other end. It'd be nice if we had some vendors that went in here. There we go. Actually get them open. And that's before we continue, we need to have a look at this area down here. So this big area which you see now, that is going to be something in the future, but it's really not urgent at the moment. We fill this area on the right hand side and that massive space in the middle, but there is plans for it. There are plans for it going forward that will make part of the Asia section, the East Asia section, and that will be kind of all linked into there. But for here, right across the terrain we've done, we are going to have the rocks in, and we are going to have the cave sign in as well, because you're going to be entering the caves from here, and we'll block off the staff path a little bit better. We have seen examples where people have gone across the staff path. In this case, it's usually because you've got a bit of normal path somewhere along the way. However, we don't have that, so we shouldn't have any problems with them taking shortcuts, and they should just rock on through the caves and have fun down with the crocodiles. So we're going to copy the sign across quite easily, save changing the colours and everything, and we'll put some trees in here as well to, you know, have the overgrown look, and then probably change a little bit of the terrain. As I said, we have to be careful changing the terrain, as because we have overlapped the habitat, it becomes part of the habitat. So although it's grass at the moment, if we change it to rock, it becomes part of the rock in terms of what the animal requires. Even though, to be quite honest, they can't get up there and can't see it, it's over their enclosure, that's what it will be part as. So we'll be relatively careful. We'll probably have a little bit of rock underneath, which you can see, and we will have the grass on top, and they should be fairly happy with that, unless we put the wrong tree in, like we've done there. So we're trying not to put the wrong tree in, and as you can see, actually that's not good enough. So we are going to have that as a different one. We can't have that as long grass because it does affect the habitat. I don't really know whether you class that as a glitch or not, to be honest, because the animals can't get up there. They can't go up and walk across the top bit of the train. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's something that can be changed? Do you think it's easier said than done in terms of changing it? I don't really know, to be honest with you. We kind of work with what we've got, and although there are a few bugs still left in the game, it's certainly getting better, and you know, it's thoroughly enjoyable to play. We enjoyed playing Planet Coaster for the last couple of years. We really have. I'm probably missing still a really good flat ride pack for Planet Coaster. And then when we think of the animals here, although it's going to cost us quite a lot in the future, there is so much possibility with Planet Zoo. You know, they've got a massive infrastructure here and what they've done in the animals and the species they've got and how they portrayed them and how it's just incredible. And when you think of marine life and you think of even the simple things like meerkats, which aren't in the game, you know, it's so popular and yet they're not in the game. Kangaroos, wallaby walkthroughs, people have mentioned. There is so much left for this game to venture that it's going to have a massive long life in front of it, and we can't wait. We are really enjoying it. So as you saw there, we put some shelter over with the flat rocks. The flat rocks will join effectively both the enclosures and will provide a little bit of shelter as well. And as we said, we do want to go across the top of the glass to just sort of rock it all in and make it look a little bit more cavey as people walk down, and of course add the theme to it. We'll put the plants around there, growing through the rocks. And yeah, you know, I'm quite happy with it. I am quite happy with it. The changes I think we've made to the park so far, particularly in the Asia section, have looked amazing. And I'm really happy with the way it's come together. Yeah, sure, you know, we can still build better things. We could go to scratch and we could build, you know, a massive sort of buildings, the size of, I don't know, I've seen some sort of, you know, the size of the enclosure, the kind of crocodile enclosure over there. I've seen those as buildings that size, which I just don't think are necessary. I don't think it's necessary to have anything that big. We want to make sure what we put in is going to be useful and it's going to be practical. And at the end of the day as well, we are cautious that we're looking to fill this map. And in filling the map, it's going to put quite a lot of pressure on the computer, and in putting pressure on the computer, you know, we can use less components and make it still look good. You know, I don't want to be doing 10, 15,000 piece builds. It just seems really silly to slow it down. It's nice doing some enclosures and then maybe sharing the enclosures, you know, if that's all you're going to be doing. But in terms of what I want here, you know, I want to make the park big. I want to make the park so you could kind of walk around it and, you know, everything's great, and not sort of have half a map with only a few species. And it is taking a long time to do it. And of course we want to make sure now we are refurbishing it like this, that we can go over and we can you know, enclose all of this as we go and get every enclosure complete as we go and not rush to open it. So we are really enjoying Planet Zoo, and we are really enjoying the refurbishment work that we're doing and spending some time on it. But again, leave your comments below. Feel free to share this video. There's a lot of communities out there. I really hope you're enjoying it. We're certainly enjoy doing it. And you know, we've got quite a lot of episodes left to come. We've got a whole map to fill. And you know, we're enjoying playing it, and it is something we're going to be sharing on our channel. Give us a like, remember to subscribe, and we will see you in the next episode.